Hello, how y'all doing tonight?
Good. How are you?
All right. Glad you're out here. It's the first Wednesday of the month, so we got Angry Cow Poetry going on here at my favorite place in Akron, the Rialto Theatre. Lots of cool events coming up at the Rialto. I'll tell you those in a little bit. I want to tell you a little bit about our feature tonight. And as always, so I don't forget to say after I start talking about our feature, then I bring them up. The more energy you give, the more energy a poet can give back. That's true for the feature. That's true for the open mic. So, you know, support. You do your snaps, like somebody was talking to me that earlier. Snaps, claps, whatever. Don't take the energy away from the poet, but certainly support and bring that out for us. First time I saw Nick was performing a Temple of Passions event up in Cleveland. Didn't know who Nick was, and came on stage, was incredible. I've heard you at least one other slam since then, maybe two, as well as online videos. And I'm really thrilled. Nick is making the drive up from Cincinnati, is that accurate? So yeah, we've got a long travel up for tonight, so please show your appreciation. Nick is fantastic. I think you're going to really enjoy this. In between, I'll tell you some other things, merch table and stuff, but Nick has 3 books out on the merch table tonight, including a very new one, an older one, and one you can say more about when you're up there. You can say more now if you'd like. You've got the voice. I know you don't need the mic, but feel free if you'd like. What's the 3rd book, Nick?
The 3rd book is a collaboration between me and my mentor from Florida, John Kell. He wrote a wonderful book called Travel Monsters, and he asked me to break down what he was doing creative language-wise and kind of explaining some of the stuff that he was doing. So I got to pick my favorite poems from his book and then do the breakdowns with the poems as well. So you can kind of, it's a really useful educational tool if we have any teachers in the house.
We do? All right, cool. So I'm really excited that Nick made this long trek up here to feature. I'm really excited to hear him. One of the nice things about this event for me, and there's nice things about all the events, like a slam you get to put your heart and soul in 3 minutes and walk off stage. But here you get to really sit with the poet and get to know more of their work and get to kind of hear more of, you know, what all kinds of pieces they have and what all they bring. And so it's always a pleasure for me. This is certainly always one of the highlights of my month. I'm super excited. Please welcome to the stage Nick Fury.
I love the energy you guys are on. Woo! We are small but mighty, aren't we?
That's right.
So, I always, whenever I get to do these, get the opportunity to do these, I always question, like, what should my set list be? And as somebody who does slam a lot, you know, we lean a lot into performance and memorization and, you know, what the craft can be, because I've always said that poetry was a spoken word art form long before it was a written one. Because most of human history, people couldn't read or write. But poetry's been around since the beginning. And so that means that it was a spoken tradition. It was the storytellers, it was the shamans, it was, you know, those were the people that were carrying on that tradition throughout human history, long before the gatekeepers of writing were like, this is what poetry should sound like. And so I've always believed that I never studied poets per se. I studied a lot of musicians and songwriters, and I believed that what they did with the word of poetry was always so beautiful. So you may hear me for the first time and say, he doesn't sound very atypical, and hopefully that doesn't rub you too much the wrong way. So I am from Cincinnati. In Cincinnati we have some of our own call words that I know aren't unique to us, but one that I'm going to see how you guys respond to is, I'm going to start the feature with some new shit.
New shit? Straight out the ass, son? Is that where you're going?
So in Cincinnati, if somebody says I'm doing new shit, then it is on you as the audience to respond, new shit. So I'm going to give you another example, or another chance of redemption. We're going to do some new shit.
New shit?
You can smell it. So, this first poem I'm going to read for you is my second newest poem I've written. It's called The Cha-Cha Slide. I always hated the cha-cha slide, and everyone always questions why. But it's so easy, dude. The moves are in the song, to the left, back, one step this time. Well, if you want the real truth, you've got to step inside my mind, hit rewind to get to a nervous teen learning dance moves on the fly. It was an awkward time. I'd entered a teenage wasteland. The brain south of my waistband had recently learned to shake hands. My right arm was like a Monstar in Space Jam. I say that to say, I was no longer an innocent youth. It all started when I first saw her at the spring dance. The DJ was getting into a groove, spinning the tunes, mixing some rock and roll with some rhythm and blues. The lights flashed colors like a palette of paint. Mixing her shoes, she danced like an angel. A halo of light hidden in view, moving her hips, swift and in tune, body language like ASL, giving me clues she was into me too. It was intimidating yet intimate. What I'm insinuating is I was into it. I gathered my courage and I went for it. I walked across the dance floor like I was big pimping it. But as I approached, she hit me with a look like a picture-perfect check hook. I was blindsided and shook like a queen takes a rook. My rookie mistake was waiting for the right song. See, just as I'm about to ask her to dance, the fucking cha-cha slide comes on. Now, some of y'all are thinking, I'm about to get in my bag, but I assure you, I had no bag. I was wholly unprepared, blissfully unaware of the size of the snare I had stepped in. In that moment, music became a weapon forged against me that was more than prosperous. I looked properly preposterous, frozen like a possum. My only option is to watch in which move they do, but by the time I do the move, they're already moving to the next one. I was already embarrassed and more than a little pissed off when this song had the audacity to hit me with a twist like crisscross. I looked like a dizzy drunk trying to do the do-si-do. I look like this is indeed my first rodeo. Like the DJ played Not Like Us and I was the head of OVO. She looked at me like, oh please no. Go please go. You ain't Morris Day and this ain't the time to OEO. Fulfilling the prophecy titled Diary of an Awkward Teen, left holding his meat wad like an episode of Aqua Teen. I went from head in the clouds, walking like an astronaut, to eating cheeseburgers off the ground like Hasselhoff. Walking back to my friends, laughing their asses off like, yeah, real funny. Ha ha, guys. So that's why I stand here today saying, man, fuck the cha-cha slide. Do we have any couples in the house? We've got one. You can make some noise for you too. Well, good, because this is my fuck loves poem. This is called Screenplay. I always dreamed of a love like it exists in the movies. Like I was Clark Gable, she was Gone with the Wind. She stole my heart with a flash of a grin. She bats her lashes like waves crashing with a wink. I think this cat was a lynx. I was sleepless in Seattle. We met on a streetcar named Desire. It was love at first casting call. I've always been a sucker for a blonde bomb out of a rom-com wearing a romper with Toms on that look like she has a TikTok of her twerking to the thong song. I've been brainwashed by movies that you meet a pretty woman, do some dirty dancing, thinking she's all that. Someone like you, she's out of my league, got me questioning laws of attraction. Y'all, in the beginning, it was so romantic. Like, we stood at the front of the Titanic, arms outstretching, caressing the breeze, thinking she's like the wind. I mean, she blew me away the first time we made love. I was nervous. I came quicker than a 40-year-old virgin. That's what she said. Remember, you thought you got knocked up? Had me dreaming of your big daddy's shotgun, asking, when's the engagement? Says he knows a good wedding singer. But that was before Plan B, before the fights, before the cheating, before the breakup, after the eternal sunshine had me deleting, cleaning a spotless mind. I was such a fool, thinking our marriage story would win awards, overcome the odds, receive thunderous applause, but that was before the family court brought the hammer down like the love and thunder god. Now I'm relearning how to be single. My friends tell me I just need to mingle. Give it time, you'll find someone great. Go through the slog of 50 first dates. Start off as friends with benefits, building your case to take it, the situationship, to the next level. I'll tell you one thing about the devil. She doesn't always wear Prada. She wears TJ Maxx too. She has matching tattoos left over from her last boo. Her daddy issues are so taboo, and with an ex who cut her off, so now her rent is past due. I am done because I've seen the script before. Tell me why I can't tell the difference between if it's love or if it's war. Trying to balance out this risk-reward shit in one hand and wish in the other. And see how long you're wishing for before you pick a different door. Fortified in front of our mortal eyes, these lies have been immortalized. This is the same Hollywood that made American beauty normalized. For every Spacey on the widescreen, there's 4 to 5 as many Weinsteins. And you're the guys blinding the masses with flashing lights, camera, action, packed billion-dollar budgets, but it's a flop, lacking in passion, mirroring the failed marriages, asking what happened. Maybe it's because most people in love are really just acting. So why do I do this? Why do I travel across the country to perform in front of strangers and give my art to people? It's not the most fiscally rewarding of job ventures you can go for. That being said, I do, as he said, have 3 books for sale. And I'd really love to sell some of the newest one. It is Man in the Iron Mask. It is a big reason why I am the poet I am today, because poetry gave me a stage that I could take the mask that I'd worn for so long as a person and take it off. I could be me up here. And I found a lot of freedom in that. I found my voice in that. I found my purpose in that. And so now, my goal is to take that passion I've found and inspire it in others. So, one of the poems that I wrote for a room similar to this, that we host open mics for, is this poem. I'm here to summon the spirits of Edgar, Nikki, and Langston to speak in enchantments like Ebony, Rudy, and Slangston. Who am I? Well, I'm Nick Fury, the Furious One. Come on, guys. The Death Poetica. I'm as rash as eczema, brash, and blessing you with past confessions of past discretions like, well, what had happened was, when I get challenged, I was never one for backing up or seeing an opportunity to let it pass me up. See, my friends are high society, but they're not here to gas me up. They'll tell me if they think it's dope, and they'll tell me if it's got some filler. Hang out for 2 seconds with my friend Micaiah, and you'll know she was born with no filter. See, I like to smoke with the go-getters, the dope spitters, the rope-a-dope hitters, the go-for-broke livers, the living la vida loca, letting hope simmer, the so you're saying there's a chance types. So this one goes out to the misfits, The freaks, the wanderers, the weirdos, the weak, wandering streets, wondering if we were born on the island of misfit toys, but like Pony Boy, I grew up an outsider. So now known for leaving mouths wider than a big gulp soda pop, faces prone to shock when words won't stop, flopping off my tongue. I'll get lost on the run, then come back to prototypical prodigal son. These rooms became my church. I've witnessed prophets bless the stage, confess their rage, address their pain, preaching their gospel so your tomorrows aren't like their yesterdays. I've heard sermons that would make Martin proud, and I've heard confessions that would make a stripper blush. I've heard harrowing stories of resilient survivors and how they'd almost given up before picking up a pen to find some semblance of peace. The difference between writing poetry and spoken word is at our peak, we are summoners, slyly synchronizing sounds and syllables so society can open their third eye to see we're literally creating a transference of energy within our liturgies. Taking creative language to the epitome with a litany of poetic devices. Where else can you get life advice like life is like a box of rocks covered in chocolate? So beware a man with a gravelly voice. Or a long-winded monologue about a fart turned tragically moist. See, in this space, you can't silence me. You can't hold me down. We make gravity a choice. So if you vibe with me, then come fly with me. Because I'd like to welcome you to this community I call the Deaf Poets Society. Thank you. The headline read, "Is poetry dead in America?" Well, if you're asking me, I believe that poetry still pitter-patters regally across rigid blacktop. It dances across intersections, but is dressed as Shel Silverstein, but as a mascot of Sasquatch, wearing an apricot-colored ascot, smoking a cig with his mask off, with a voice like gravel, trying to hold back a bad cough. See, long before the first poem ever made it to page, when most people couldn't read, poets first played on stage. We'd have rage and debates, waging war of words as we stated our case, expounding philosophies, condemning atrocities, and sometimes the occasional attempt at prophecy. So answer me this then. How can poetry be dead when music has lyrics, when rhyme schemes and hip-hop are tied at the hip like Siamese twins combining flow with some immaculate timing? Oh, that reminds me of Joe and pun. So what if I litter in a little light alliteration like it's a riddle about a dead middleman in Little Italy that didn't do diddly? Rappers might do it a bit differently, but you cannot tell me that that is not poetry. See, how can poetry be dead when a poem can be anything? When a poem can be the last words you ever say to your loved one? When a poem can be the first words you say to your lover in the morning? See, if poetry is dead, then I must be the ghost of Poe, prone to prose of broken homes, of glass houses with stones to throw, of overgrown back alleys, no stranger to an overdose, of dice in the hands of a gambling man as he holds them close before he goes for broke. See, poetry can be found anywhere. Poetry can be found up, pull down stairs when you're looking for that light in the attic. You find that old package, double bubble wrapped in plastic, that takes you on a path from way back in the day, out there where the sidewalk ends. For a moment, you sit and imagine Over the next horizon, there's wizards flying, fighting with magic. Lights bright as they're flashing, flinging spells furiously. Voracious in their vim and vigor, hell-bent to battle this vindictively vicious, vile vermin, vehement for vengeance in an overly verbose, vivaciously visceral vendetta. So even though the headline proposed the death of prose, I know that poetry isn't dead, because if it was, you wouldn't have to keep asking. All right, I'll do one more and then we can get into the open mic. This poem is what I like to joke is the poem that made me famous. And this is the poem that I wrote when I got really into doing open mics because of the feeling that it gave me. It's like riding a roller coaster, you know, it's terrifying. You want to throw up sometimes. You're shaking. You're involuntarily crying because of the emotion of channeling. You know, it's unlike anything else. And when you get to do it enough and you get to fall in love with it, it's, whew, who needs heroin? I've got a microphone. It's so much better.
You put that on a t-shirt.
Right.
I've got a microphone.
So this poem is called Gladiator.
Yeah.
Tonight, you can be Caesar. See, I am but a humble servant here to appease you. Here to paint pictures on easels. Please let these words ease you. Let these words free you from this cruel world that seems to keep you shackled to your meat suit. Let these metaphors and synonyms like sprinkling cinnamon giving in to your sweet tooth. Each sentence and sentiment sending chills to leave you stuck to your seats glued from memorable penmanship like I'm a sentient Isu. Like life wasn't like some Assassin's Creed dude striking from the shadows before you got your sheath loose looking like, damn Brutus, A2.
Yes, sir.
So now that I've got your attention, allow me to mention this temporary suspension of time and space. There's no time to waste. This spell could be broken at any moment, and I'm really hoping you find a place in your mind you've designed to take a break from reality. See, we all have vices. My advice is to light it up when the night is frightening. There's storm clouds and striking lightning, and every day you're fighting Vikings just to get out of bed because depression is a motherfucker. Even Samuel L. Jackson couldn't make sound cool. But as an artist, I've often found that darkness is my greatest muse. She's an old lover, it's a favorite tune, it spurs my creative juices. So I ask you now, is it strange how this pain produces this deranged infusion of maimed contusions, eluding all candor? I know my brain's confused and it likes to create these insanely lucid illusions as a main influence, and I haven't even gotten to the delusions of grandeur. What more can I say? These scars made me cocky. As Ricky Bobby at top speed. See, I'm headed to the mountaintop. Even Drago can't stop me. I'm sly. These bullwinkles think I'm down before I pop up like Rocky. If y'all don't like how I spit, then better watch where I'm hawking. I'm poetry's version of the offspring of the gay fictional three-way between Mathers, Poe, and Stephen Hawking, but still, nothing compares to the thrill I get to killing it on the mic, because in real life, I work on the grill and shit.
I ask if you need a refill and shit. I'm praying when I looked at the bill, you tipped like 1,000,000%, or at least enough for my rent payment, because out there, I'm just a face in the crowd destined to remain nameless. Out there, the beauty that I can bring to the world is lost. I can't rhyme my way to a promotion, and witty wordplay is often lost on Karens, but in here, I am a gladiator. So since my time is short, allow me to simply serenade you in a symphony of syllables to shatter your horcrux. I'll slide in with some sensual silhouetted visuals ending in a sword thrust, long enough to keep you distracted. See, magic never happens center frame, so I can bask in this moment, acting like a Mahova, asking, are you not entertained? Woo! Thank you.
One more time, Nick Fury. Thank you so much, Nick. And May is 10 years of the Rialto Theatre, 10 years of putting these events on and building up the community, bringing out artistry. Yeah, absolutely. And they have a lot of really cool things planned. I'm just going to highlight a few, but they are doing some possible passes, like where you buy for the month, and then you can come and keep coming in. It's a really awesome possibility for those that live in the area. May 2nd, Zach from Wyoming now, but of Akron for the longest time. Zach's playing with his band, the Bright Lights, and Church of Starry Wisdom, and Minus the Alien, and Creating Lewis, and I'm jumping on stage for a little bit too. So that's May 2nd in the back here. May 7th, we have... Oh, May 7th is the first Wednesday of the month. That's us again. I'm sorry, I'm like, what am I doing? Oh, that's because it's this. And since it's the 10-year anniversary, we're doing things up a little bit. We're going in the back. We got 3 features: Artistic Genius, Tori, and Silent Night. We've got a DJ. That one is going to be ticketed. It's going to be $10 or $5 in advance. So your normal $5 suggestion will get you in if you do it in advance. May 10th, Jim Ballard with the full band, with the strings. Katie Robinson and Maura back there. May 23rd, Angie Hayes is performing, and I'm releasing my 2nd spoken word album that Angie produced, so I'm excited for that. Come on out, that's going to be great. Now you get to hear me and Angie and more. May 24th, a band named Ashes. These guys not just put on art, they create it. It's artists creating space for artists, and their band is amazing. They'll be out here May 24th. May 29th, Warren Brabson will be here. It's just a month full of amazing events. Please check into that. On the merch table, we have Nick's, all 3 of Nick's books. Check those out. Feel free to give money directly to Nick, cash, PayPal, and work it out with Nick. He's got all kinds of options. As always, suggested $5 donation for those willing and able. He did come all the way from Cincinnati, so I know this one of you already talked about adding a little extra. It's much appreciated because he's got a long drive, a hotel room, and everything to come and bring the artistry to us. We'll take about 10 minutes, order your drinks, use the restroom, chat with somebody, mention something to Nick you like, check out one of his books, things like that, and we'll come back to the open mic. Let's get this open mic started. How y'all feeling? Yeah. All right, thank you. We have a number of regulars coming to the open mic. We have one brand new performer to the open mic tonight as well. I'm excited to hear all of you. First up to the open mic, please welcome Sylvia Clark.
All right, here we go. You gotta stretch around. Yeah.
Some salutation.
I just know downward dog. No, I'm not gonna say the joke anyway. Okay, this first one is called, my name's Sylvia, hi. You can follow me on Instagram at s.clarkpoems. You could also follow my art and music page on Wreath Eyes. It's like a Christmas wreath, but it's your eyes. Yeah. This one's called One Tonight after Richard Blanco. He wrote a poem called One Today. It was read at the second Obama inauguration, something like that. And I was just, I'm not here to criticize this or that about what he wrote, but there's something unique about America in the nighttime when you're just driving past Well, I'll explain. One tonight. Whatever diluted coffee attention found left in the cup holder must span long asphalt stretches. Hours of disembodied night highway. Lend the energy needed to follow the grimy headlights into morning. The stark panoramic land as seen through an encrusted windshield. In a cramped metal chassis, furnished with a radio and dull heats, with leather torn from very real cash cows, stretched over the seats, with chunks removed, exposing divots of furniture foam as yellow, firm and chewed up, as sheets of industrial microwaves, scrambled eggs from plastic pouches, continental breakfast kept in leaky backroom refrigerators, overnight for weary travelers, at hotels that leave their light on for you, whose glow stands by like a vending machine, seen rising over the hills and dark trees beyond the shoulder of the road for the hungry. The vacant warmth of iconic signs swarming with moths at the top of their poles, the persistent fluorescent background humming like an advertisement tinnitus, or four turning rubber tires meeting the paved trail underneath, running through the veins between towns, past the flashing yellow traffic lights at intersections that scream caution after dusk, past lonely abandoned gas stations in a grim fog that beseech chills and bewilder, past colossal sky-high searchlight steeples and their veined shadows, past silver moonlight bleachers at the edge of football fields where children smoke, past one-story ranch houses playing nightly infomercial lullabies onto the curtains, past open barns and high-grass fields, rusty pipe swing sets, green turtle sandboxes, past broken cemeteries, brushed nameless or decayed snaggletooth headstones, past long, strung formations of electrical towers neatly cutting through necks of wood, on and on. Desperate for a gradient horizon, only assuming the sun will rise, trying to stay awake behind the wheel, to keep some lucid dream alive. Do you get the stretching now, or? I gotta stretch my lungs now. Okay, this is a little different for me. Admittedly, I'm a little nervous because it's a little H word, and by that I mean horny.
Don't be nice, be nasty.
That's right.
This is called pining. My evening dream temptation thinks of crisp apples unknown to my mouth or hands. My antsy, itching palms fester as my chest pants and pumps with great demand. My wrinkled pink brain stages fragrant pruned rose bushes of pearlescent scented dew. Satellite images of tremendous gaff scent rushing across two hemispheres. My digits feel the palpable sweat from the hot sunscreen. Digital fingernail files scratching my lust without relief. Begging for topical feasts when I'm touch-starved and must eat. Needing a bathing soul cleanser to expunge the stains of my defeats. Thirsting for a tall glass of water spilling out of their dress. To pour themselves over my scoured brush fire hands so that I may feel once more. As only the power of their balm can calm my stoked desires' sore blisters. The silky threads that glimmer on the skin sewn with pine needles. Wishing to skim the surface of the unbroken, shimmering pools. to learn every velvet satin curve with sensual attention to detail as they hold the line of my kite ribbon spine from flying off the handle, wrapped around their knuckle spool.
Thank you, Sylvia. Please welcome next to the open mic, Ed Amann.
One I wrote a while back, but it come creeping at me a couple of days ago. In the dewy sun of morning, before the fields were mowed, I met someone who told me she'd help me crack the lover's code. In the slow swing of the summer, we were going down the road, arm in arm, hand in hand, to crack the lover's code. The sunset called the fireflies, and the beer and music flowed. We were wrangling with our secrets, trying to crack the lover's code. In the back seat of a Chevy, where a lot of oats were sowed, we finally came together and we cracked the lover's code. In the dewy gray of morning, before the milkman showed, we found we didn't feel much different to have cracked the lover's code. Got a little safety net, but we're going to try Winston again.
Yeah.
I fell off of that last month trying to do it from memory. Anybody that's read 1984, you'll get this. If you don't get it, read 1984. When the news is all in newspeak and your TV watches you, enter parties in the palace, and the truth is seldom true. The neighbor's kids will turn you in, so be careful what you do. It's the world you live in, Winston. Don't know how it got this way. It's your job to rewrite history, tell folks who to hate each day. Big Brother's always watching you, so be careful what you say. The pros have got their football, AI porn and victory beer. You're a little bit above that, but you're scared of seeming queer. You really don't know who to trust. Every day is filled with fear. Throw that rock. Throw that rock into the water. See the ripple echoes roll. Every action causes echoes. Every action takes its toll. You can act for love or anger. Each decision marks your soul. We've walked this earth for quite a while. Still it seems we're slow to learn. When you act in anger, strike that match. Something's bound to burn. There's another way to act. It's love for the karma that you earn. There are people who will tell you fear because they're selling hate to feed their greed at your expense, believing that they rate. I still believe the way of love. I hope it's not too late. You can always find me on the web at www.edmanwalking.com.
Great website, Ed. Thank you, Ed. Appreciated that. All right, another regular coming up to the mic next. Please give it up for Steve Pryce.
Hello, everybody. I have a couple new pieces I'm going to read tonight.
New shit?
New shit. And just to let you know, my pieces are about recovery. So the first one is titled A Car to Work. I depledged to fraternity because I was drinking too much. It was a small Midwest college in a rural town. Gossip went around campus. The active members complained that I didn't have a car, that I was limited in means. The next semester, I joined the lacrosse team. I had to do something. I didn't know the other players were in other fraternities or played other sports. I walked to practice alone, passing the fraternity house I depledged. Nonetheless, I started. I was in good condition and not drinking. We were winning. By the end of the season, they cut me from the starting lineup. Other players wanted me to join another fraternity. It was misery, not who I wanted to be. Upcoming pledges played in my place. In the fall semester, I got a job at the Pizza Hut in town and a car. During the interview, I said I was the best player on the team. I worked through the spring semester. Later, I joined the debate team too. What's it like to earn it? Other students complained, seeing me at work. Again, another recovery piece. This is called Getting an Interview. After my discharge from the halfway house, the temporary labor agencies no longer wanted me. You're not the same, they told me. I wore a golf shirt and khakis from Kmart and had a smooth, softer-looking body. So I decided to reconnect with my case manager. We had 3 meetings. At the first, we talked about my recovery and goals. The second, she asked me to stay silent for the half hour, which I was able to do. I think you might make it, she said. The final meeting, we talked about my work history. She wanted to make sure that I was okay with this kind of work. She called the maintenance supervisor at Horizon Housing. They provided housing for the homeless and mental health recovery community. And the interview was scheduled for a casual labor position. It was taking out trash, cleaning, and painting. I discovered that my eligibility was as important as my work history and that they wanted me to be happy with the position. I got the job.
Thank you, Steve. All right, at the beginning, I mentioned there was one brand new poet to the mic tonight who's not yet been here for Angry Cow Poetry, at least. Please welcome to the mic, Deanna Maze.
As Keith mentioned, my name's Deanna, and this is my very first poetry event ever.
Woo!
Thanks for having me. I never thought of my poems as being really short, but after tonight, they're very short. So I'll read a couple. They're mostly about grief. If you were sick, I would mourn with you, bind my wrist to yours and pray with you. Sigh, your forehead pressed to mine, and cry with you. Knot our knees together and lay with you. Gasp, our waists wound with thread, and slowly breathe with you. Hip to hip I'd stay, and say goodbye with you. Sorry, my heart's beating so fast I didn't expect to be nervous for like 10 minutes. Here's my second one. I've been asked, begged really, to deal with these things quietly and on my own. To bear this bundled skirt full of secrets and somehow still to stride upright.
Yeah.
They're short. It is a starving thing, relentless and desperate, this grief. And yet I find myself coddling it, holding it close to my chest and looking down on it with a mother's blind love. Is it okay if I share a couple more? Okay. I'm not sure when grief shifts or why it starts as a wanting creature after your hunger, your beauty, your sleep, and over the years is slowly sated until it craves little, an occasional empty night spent silently shaking on the stained carpeted floor of the guest bedroom. He comes to me for comfort. He asks for it by name. What I give him is weak hands and half of my attention and my own self-pity. But too, a clean kitchen table, warm dinner with dark tomatoes I grew from seed in the winter. I give him less than I have and still I am emptied, bled dry. A pile of graying, meatless bones on the counter next to the seeming soup.
Deanna Maze. All right, there's 2 of us left. I think I'm going to go and then let Theresa close out the open mic if that's good with you, T. All right. So, I don't know how many of you also never quite know what you're going to share on the open mic until it's time to share. And, you know, there's been a lot of talk about, you know, book references, movie references in the poetry. And that made me think of this piece that I really like, and I don't know how well it plays outside my head, but I'm reading it anyway. How many are familiar with Pan's Labyrinth, the film by Guillermo del Toro? Yeah. All right. Anybody familiar with Samantha Hunt's book, The Seas? Okay, fair enough. Hey, nice seeing you. All right. So in both of them, what kind of happens is there's potential fantasy within the fiction. And you can believe the fantasy, or you can believe that they're hiding the reality inside the fiction. And so either the character survives at the end because you buy into the fantasy, or the fantasy is hiding the reality of what happens to the character by the end. So this is called Outrunning the Ocean. I don't think we can outrun the ocean, but I'll try, for your sake. The Seas. After Samantha Hunt's novel The Seas, Guillermo del Toro's film Pan's Labyrinth. Oh, nameless narrator, are you truly a mermaid stranded in your small coastal town? Oh, sweet Ophelia, are you truly a princess about to return to your underground kingdom? Is this a fairy tale to you? Or is it survival? Did your brain provide the chalk for you to draw the door to escape to your imagination? To reality that didn't resemble the one you were trapped inside? An alternate reality where neither the sea nor the bottle could drown your father, where the war could not take him forever away. When the waves of anguish surround you, will you weather the storm? Does your key unlock a new passage, or is it simply another dead end? Is that the hand of God or the hand of death drawing closer? Or are they both the same underneath the soggy glove? Will the waves be your rebirth, or will they wash you away? Is this freedom or fiction? Miracle or mirage? Deviation or despair? Tell me you can swim. Tell me you have gills. Tell me your throne is waiting. Tell me it isn't only a story for you. As you shake with fear, tell me, are the monsters of this world even more terrifying than the ones of your imagination? When the blood drips down your face, will you melt like a mortal? I want you to be so much more than mortal. Are you beautifully buoyant, or will the weight of the world, like rocks filling your pockets, drag you to the depths of the uncharted sea? When you take your next breath of water, tell me there will be another. What happens after the last page, the last reel? Is this a new beginning, or only, as the credits say, the end? As you race to escape the pain of your world, I just want to know, will you survive? Will we? I'm going to do one more piece and then call Theresa up here. You're talking about magic a little bit too. So, the world's greatest magic trick performed before your eyes. Houdini once shocked the world by making a single elephant seemingly vanish into thin air, while we make 8 million animals disappear every hour. A word of caution in our act, there will be no escape. Our assistance will be sawed in half, but the magic lies in convincing you not to care. A pig goes into our top hat, and you ooh and ah, that's presto. We pull sausages out, the sleight of hand, the disappearing act. We make the blood disappear, misdirection, bacon. We make their lives disappear, misdirection, a smiling cartoon of our victim, assistant. With the tap of our wand and a few flashy words like abracadabra and alakazam and farm fresh and certified humane. You now see only product, only dinner. With a little hocus pocus, we convinced you to rename our death machine Love. Misdirection, a small red barn. Misdirection, we always keep your eyes on your belly. We saw the animals in half, and you never even demand we put them back together. Angled mirrors become unnecessary when your audience gladly looks the other way. Thank you. Thank you very much. We have one more poetry open mic. I've said this before, but there's a lot of faces who haven't been here when I said this. This event would not have happened if it weren't for 3 folks. Theresa Göttl Brightman is coming up next, her husband Steve, and Seth Vale. and it was 2 conversations happening almost back to back within like a week or something of chatting at Steve and Theresa's house and then chatting here with Seth. They kind of made this click to like, oh, we're going to do this and make this event. And honestly, I went to Seth like, this could be a one-time thing, it could be a monthly thing. And the Rialto Theater's back this every step of the way. I'm always super grateful for all they provide. But certainly this poetry event would never have happened without them jumping full-heartedly on board right from the start. Wholeheartedly on board. Maybe full-heartedly too. But wholeheartedly on board. Please welcome, last to the open mic, Theresa, Göttl, Brightman!
Thank you, Keith. I have one announcement and one poem. So first, who's over 40? Woo! Yeah! All right, so I have great news for you. I have been given a grant from an Arts Forward grant to publish a poetry anthology. There will be 40 poets over the age of 40. Submissions are free. Payment. Our feature tonight mentioned that poetry is not always fiscally beneficial to us. Because of this wonderful grant through Arts Now, I'm able to pay those who are accepted into the anthology $40. It's going to be a great project. We will also have a big launch event downtown at the big main library in their beautiful auditorium in August. Everyone who is accepted will have a chance to read in that venue. So please consider submitting if you are over 40 and have poems. And I'm sure everybody in this room has some poems.
Yeah.
I have flyers. If you don't want it yourself, share with friends. Keith has flyers that he can share too.
Okay.
So thank you.
Yeah.
And I have one poem that I'm going to share tonight. This is from a project that I did last fall with a couple of friends, where we visited decrepit sites around Northeast Ohio, and that were being reclaimed by nature. And this poem is about the Warner and Swayze Observatory up in Cleveland, which used to be this like technological marvel. In the early 1900s, it was like one of the biggest, most important observatories in the country. They discovered the concept of a spiral galaxy there, with two big telescope domes, and now it's a crumbling ruin. But it's in the middle of this residential neighborhood. Like anybody can go there and look at it. I would recommend going inside. It's probably not safe. But so this is about the Warner and Swayze Observatory. And on the 8th day, God created wonder. Human brains germinating 2 seeds, 2 breathy syllables. Why and how? Planted inextricably deep. With those 2 words, people built this temple, twin telescopes, technological cathedral, eating spiral galaxies and red dwarfs, master tools of exploration, seeding human minds where human hands could not yet touch. 2 jewels crowning sculpted beauty worthy of discovery, curled stairways, halls of mosaics, students walking among marble and brass zodiac constellations. Wonder is a sacrament. To study nature and all her creation is prayer. To ask the question is holy. When English ivy swallowed the grand entrances and weather peeled the panels to reveal naked domes, exposing tracks and pulleys rusted in the now vacant turrets, replacing wonder at the heart of this temple with sadness and forgetfulness, this too is a kind of sin, an 11th commandment violation of crime against what could have been. A black cat echoes from within, crying a psalm. It will die, or it will live and it will die. Maybe once upon a time is not enough to maintain a star temple on a hill. Maybe the old gods in relief are not enough to inspire worship of a visible miracle. Maybe breaking the 7th seal releases not horsemen, but regrets. Thank you.
Thank you, Theresa. That was such a cool event. There were 3 different artists. Theresa did poems and had QR codes you could listen to her perform as well as read them. There was a painter, and there was a photographer, but that is not nearly enough of a word, because she took photos and then used ink and kind of painted on top and took it was this whole process that she did explain to me that night, and I cannot even process to re-explain to you at this point in time. But all 3 went to the same sites and each gave their own interpretation, and it was just really beautiful. Theresa has books. Do you still have books?
I do still have chapbooks. They're $10.
So yeah, you got other things to get tonight too. We're going to do one last break of the night before we let Nick finish up the night for us. Great time to put some money in the pot if you haven't yet. You can do it electronically. You can send it right to Nick, or you can send it to me and I'll transfer it, whichever. If you do it electronically, you can also support the poet by buying some cool books over here. New book's $20. The older book is $10. I mean, it's a great deal. Grab some books up before you go. So 10 minutes at best before we get back started again here, and let Nick end the night for us. Talk to Seth to get your drink refills. Talk to a poet. Tell somebody a piece you enjoyed, something you liked about their work, or just a face you enjoy being in here. There's so many great folks just coming and support. I mean, we need that too. We don't need everybody on the mic, but it's so much value just from the folks sitting in the room and enjoying the work here too. So give us a few minutes. So I can change the camera on my battery, the battery on my camera, that one. Whatever, words. And then we'll get back up here. All right, we have a little more left to go of the evening. I hope you're having a great time. One other announcement I didn't mention earlier. On Saturday, Jim's going to help me here if I get anything wrong, but there's the Hands Off March that's a national thing. There are many options going around, but Hardesty Park in Akron at 1:30 is happening for an Akron if you want to come out, be part of that. Jim Bowd's going to play some songs. Come out with your signs or without your signs, but love to have you out for that. Without further ado, I think we're ready for our feature to close out the night. Let's give a great welcome back to the mic for Nick Fury.
It hasn't been said yet, but happy Poetry Month to all of you.
Oh, yeah.
If you're looking for some inspiration on maybe a writing prompt to build off of, one I got challenged a couple weeks ago was really open-ended, and I struggled with it. It took me almost 2 weeks to come up with something for the prompt because of how open-ended it was. But the prompt is, I've been writing these poems, ... All right. And the thing that the prompt misses, that it took me 2 weeks to realize, is the first word should be, why am I writing these poems? And so that was what I wound up exploring, and it's a fun social media challenge that you can look up. There's been a lot of great poets who have done it so far. This is my version of why I've been writing these poems. I've been writing these poems on a path to self-discovery, self-acceptance, self-worth, learning to fall in love with me, live in my skin comfortably, something we all struggle with to some degree. I like to beat myself up, letting assumptions lead to a sundering instead of sunning under a summer breeze. All I ever wanted was a life with some substance. For evildoers to finally get their comeuppance, the best solution I've come up with is I've been writing these poems, trying to get my bars up, facing Armageddon, mining asteroids for stardust, minding my business is timing, combining with awestruck, rhyming on consignment till they assign me as washed up. I've been writing these poems phonetically, energetically, respect the craft with every breath I breathe, my recipe, technically a mix of techniques that pack a punch left to me from dead MCs so Pac and Pun can rest in peace. I've been writing these poems for poets who came before. They saved me, gave me an escape to break free, and lately I'm done taking that kind of thing for granted. I know, my brain's outlandish. I've been writing these poems waiting for the rain to vanish, trying to change my vantage, taking my pain and damage and turning it into my main advantage. I've been writing these poems, searching for X to mark the spot. Treasure map on a cardboard box I picked up outside in the parking lot from a man going through the garbage. His arms and face are scarred with pox. He told me you'll learn a lot about yourself once you know starvation. And here I am complaining about a full plate when I told the world I was hungry. I've been writing these poems to crash parties I'm not invited. Either too socially awkward or entirely too excited. Conversations too dark or bright. I'm kind of like a light switch. I might flip off the whole room just to go Zoom my therapist trying to figure out why am I like this. Deep down I probably like it. So then why should I fight it? The way these bars turn into gold, I might be the new Midas. I'll go out and get a golden goose and cut the feathers so it's flightless until I'm so rich I don't shop at the mall. I shop at museums type shit. I've been writing these poems, flexing like a virtuoso, dropping pipe bombs and assertive promos, letting words flow like I'm surfing GoPro. Ergo, I got a certain mojo of a wordsmith whose purpose is to challenge artists to dig beneath the surface, leave the earth with more grace than we found it, leave faces astounded. Thank you for tuning in. I'd like to make an announcement before they bury me under the stone and the angels carry me home. Tell God I'm already saved because I've been writing these poems.
Right.
So I like to write in characters a lot, and one of the characters is true to life for me. And this character that I like to do is called Potion Master. And shameless plug, this is in my book. It's available for $20. That's so affordable. I once had a customer tell me to my face, you know that bartending isn't a real job? Well, if you want to open that can of beans, like my workplace isn't the cathedral to calamity where I'm expected to smile amicably at your beck and call on hands and knees while managing Janet, Annie, and Andy's outlandish needs as a Karen screams in the background, damn it, we need to speak to your manager, please. Since there seems to be a lack of understanding of what my job entails, consider this my rebranding. I no longer wish to be called a bartender. Also, don't call me a mixologist. I am slightly more similar to Severus Snape. I am more like an apothecary. So please do not compare me to any old Tom, Dick, or Harry staring bright-eyed at you behind the bar, baby girl, because I am evolved. I am a fortune teller, fluent in crystals, tarot, and tea leaves, telling tantalizing tales while making it look easy. I am a slut for attention. So eat your heart out while I shake this shaker tin and dance into its raining men. I am known for making love, potions, for widows, virgins, and ugly snub-nosed club-toed men, plus a few dizzy princesses to help get their hearts unfrozen. While tending to a bar, I have a tendency for tenderly tending to the tiniest details. My tutelage included tutorials and tomes on tinctures and tonics, infusions and comets, moon men and sonnets, Cupid, and common cures for the cold. I took a sacred oath. When a wanderer approaches seeking shade by the oak bar top stained by one too many Jack and Cokes, I don't just take people's orders. I take the time to get to know them. I listen to them talk about their dreams. I listen as they tell stories about their lives. I've been there when their friend OD'd. I've been many strangers' shoulder to cry. I saw what you did at your bachelor party, and I've been the bridesmaid's fallback guy. And if you're a prick who doesn't tip, then shit, I might even sleep with some of your wives. After all, this is the home of laughter, heartbreak, hedonism, and heretic pastors, while heathens hum hymns of hallelujah until the problems of the world no longer matter. I am the amalgamation of all this, and more. I am one part broken disaster mixed with notes of laughter. Add in some bargain bin jargon so even my language is cloaked in passwords. I am a noted actor who knows you're after an escape and a pina colada over loud spoken chatter. Still raising toast to chapters, still waiting to be written, telling tall tales, reaching for brass rings or falling from broken ladders. So if this isn't a real job, I want to be called the Potion Master. Another character. This is called the Janitor. They told me I needed to write more clean, family-friendly poetry, and that made me wonder, what does that mean? Are we talking like PG or PG-13? Like, can I use one non-sexual F word or no sex, drugs, or other adult themes? I've been told I'd get booked more if only I cleaned up my act a bit. See, I like to think I'm just passionate, but if I have to get honest, I have been known to pop eyes the way I cuss like a sailor. I just like to play with words. I don't mean to mock the opposition, but how can my poems be dirty when my wordplay mops the competition? If my poetry was dirty, it's Midwest meets dirty South, like the crust stuck between fingernails from a long day's work made its way onto the page. Or the sweat stains of my blue collar gripping my throat only ever allows the words I speak to be dripping with a language that needs rinsing, wondering how that waters down my message. Will I still wax poetic, or will whitewashing bleach the page? Or not, who knows? You can't Clorox wipe away these stains only for it to dawn on me hitting a little pine solves most cleanup jobs fabuloso. I don't mean to be insensitive. I'm not trying to be offensive. It's a way for me to be inventive with words while opening a can of whoop asking, isn't this censorship? It's just my 2 cents to give. It makes sense that kids couldn't make sense of it, couldn't digest the sentiment. Adults can barely get a scent or whiff before judging its offensiveness. So when I hear, clean up your acts, being honest, I'm on the fence with it. But maybe they're right. Maybe I'm not the messenger meant to speak to America's youth. I've gotten too long in the hair and the tooth, swearing and wearing tattoos. But if you're up for hearing the truth, I'm confused on what to do. See, using alcohol wipes my mind clean. I can't seem but write these adult themes, trying to get through to you in 3 minutes while the competition writes in all memes like, how do I keep my poems family friendly when me and my family was never friendly? Maybe I'll buff out the bit about the boy whose dad wasn't there. I can rinse and repeat for the class clowns whose teachers didn't care. I can sweep under the rug all I've broken and battered, wearing the sanitized smile, choking on hope and some laughter. Or I can be authentic for suicidal strangers to tell them I hope you know that you matter. So this is my arbitration against the arbiters of truth. Call me the harbinger, mixed with armed with an army of lewd, lash vicious barbarians. I'm talking very scary men. I'm talking big, gay, hairy men that want to get married then, have a family in, overcome the odds, become the city's first openly gay librarians. That's apple pie level American dreams. So how's that for family friendly? How's that for clean? Indiana called, they said no. So how the fuck do you expect me to keep it clean? Oops, I'm sorry. I let one slip. Well, at least it's still PG-13. Do I have any Hunter S. Thompson fans in the house? No. Alright, well, we're not doing that one.
Sorry.
It's alright. Accurate. Learn your shit. Hunter S. Thompson, the inventor of gonzo journalism.
Yeah, we know.
Yeah.
But not a fan? Okay. He was a crazy bastard, I'll give you that. But alright. I'll finish out with a couple more pieces. And I really appreciate y'all having me up here. You've been a great crowd, very listen and tuned, and it always makes these kind of things that much more fun. So, I struggle with loving myself, so I use this stage so you can do it for me. If only that helped when it's 4 in the morning and my demons are 4 deep, warring, screaming on the borders of my sanity, so adept at preying on my vanity. Candidly, I ask my reflection, can you answer me the question, is it still 7 years bad luck if the mirror's not broken, but you are?
Damn.
Ooh, where's that going? I thought I grew past the need for your recognition. My self-worth's on a seesaw based on the respect I'm given. I know it's not healthy. It's an obsession within, and I confess I'm getting less resistant to the pressure, slowly pressing in when I'm driven to be the best and flex with every breath I'm given. See, I hope to be the ODB of poetry, so I check the method and gave inspect the deck a listen. I made it so even if you're missing some of the layers hidden within, at least the plebeians can check the rhythm. I made it so hard if they want to step, wish them the best. I'm gonna need the address of your next of kin then, because your next breath and sentence ain't gonna have the best of endings yet. I don't feel I get the respect consistent of my contemporaries for these sets I'm spinning, so I'm in that. With a pen and pad, I'm a pen a poem with a penultimate type in and that, well, that only legends have. Whew. It's been a while since I've done this piece. Forgive me. Let me get my notes out.
It's amazing. So.
You like it?
Yeah.
And legend has it, I won't stop till I am one. I'll cross over to mainstream like street ball meets and one, where even if I'm ugly, they'll still be like, damn, he's handsome. Now, normally I'm not a shit talker, but if you show me your fangs, I will pull out my blade like a daywalker, so stop it. These Nosferatu ain't stopping Nostradamus. I'm ill at it, acting pompous on one mic as godson, and you're still at it, trying to climb ladders, and I'm already a top son. I'm talking top run, like I'm talking Tom Cruise and Top Gun, sipping cocktails with dreamy women. Damn it. Sorry, folks. I don't normally mess up like this.
Reminds us you're human.
I know. It is. I do try and do that in my shows, that where it's like, you gave me a blessed compliment where you said I didn't want to have to come after you. And it's like, I do try and do that with open mics where it's like, I don't ever want to be intimidating, because it's always beautiful to get somebody who's never been on a mic before.
Yeah.
And so I always try and show the stages of like, yes, I do spend a lot of time practicing this. Though the side tangent might not seem like it. But it is important that, like, from reading to memorization and just spending time with your craft is amazing. Anyways. I'm Tom Cruise and Top Gun. I'm the wrong dude. I'm not one to play with. This is child's play. So I'm chucking deuces before I go to a vile place. Like, back in my old days, I could smell a fuckboy from a mile away. And right now, I get a little bit of a whiff of it. So peep game, as I spit a bit of arithmetic, I get a little bit sick of this. Weak game, y'all silently settle for his penmanship. It's fitting, I'm spitting with a bit of a bitter bite like black licorice. Ever since I was a little kid, I was literally told I'd be illiterate. But little did they consider if my dedication was rigorous, I could master the phonetics and be slightly sicker than syphilis. When Nicholas spits a shit, I got a liquid drip of limitless, with syllables of Icarus, to end it with indiscriminate flair like, woo! With a swirl of words blurring in a flurry, because even though I don't always love Nick Blackburn, if you give me a mic, I'll make damn sure they respect Nick Fury.
Yeah.
Yes.
And to leave on a positive note with a poem I know. You all can follow me at Nick Fury or Nick Fury the Facebook or Nick Fury the Poet on all social media platforms if you're into doing that kind of thing. I've got videos. I host shows myself in Cincinnati if you're ever down that way, or if you're ever looking to book me to come back to your beautiful city. Thank you for having me. So this poem was kind of the poem that inspired the entire book in the first place, Man in the Iron Mask, with the acronym MITIM. Minim, because it satisfies my OCD of being spelled exactly the same way frontwards and backwards with all the dots. But this poem is called Chameleon. I am a chameleon. In fact, you might think I was gaming the way I can change skins, but I quit playing a fortnight ago. The older I get, the harder it is for me to make friends when so many I had in the playpen grew into cobblepots, or for you laymen, that's a reference to how the Penguin was once Bruce Wayne's friend, but he eventually grew up to hate him. What I'm saying is I'm like Batman. And that most people who have seen me have never seen me with my mask off. See, I wore a mask before COVID, and I haven't stopped to this day. It's not for stopping a sneeze, monkeypox, or the plague. I'm the man in the iron mask trying to pick a lock on his cage. Trying to process this rage with more onomatopoeia than a comic book page. Nails, bloody, dripping drops convert these random blots to coherent thoughts on a page so I can do this mock of a play with a 3-minute clock, but no props, but I still feed off the props I get after rocking the stage. I have to remind myself to soak in the applause and the praise, because if only for a moment I get to pick the lock on the cage. Wow. See, we have a chant in Cincinnati called "Take Your Time."
Take your time. What page you on?
I get to pick the lock on the stage. You could say my origin story. You could say my origin story is a hellacious war full of glory with all the gory details redacted. The fact is that one man's vulnerability is another man's ammo. So would you rather be the buck or the one in the camo? See, I remember growing up, my father used to tell me, boy, you need to toughen up. So now I play coy and I keep it buttoned up. Whenever my boys ask me what is up, I just say nothing much. Even though anxiety's got my heart beating so fast you think I was jumping double dutch. Still, I'll run it back, even though I break every time we huddle up. See, I often feel fake in group conversations, probably because I'm thinking so much I have to remind myself to breathe. Coincidentally, ADHD, social anxiety, and addiction go together better than peanut butter and jam. So I get southern fried without ever buttering pans. If I'm sober in a social setting, I stutter and clam up, muttering, damn, bro, well, my stomach feels like a fluttering fan. It's quintessential I find a quiet corner to quell your questioning eyes. Coincidentally, I've already calculated every quandary, and I quickly dress in disguise. I'll reprise the role of the quiet, shy guy. I've tried bright-eyed and tie-dyed, likewise mysterious and brooding, choosing these personas like outfits. I'll fit in anywhere, comfortably, except my own skin.
Yeah.
Thank you all for having me.
Thank you so much, Nick. You, I believe, are the feature that's traveled the furthest to feature for this monthly event. I'm so glad you did. Yeah, I knew you were a long way off when I reached out and like a wish and a hope, and I'm so glad that you came up. Let's give it up for everyone who blessed the open mic, all the amazing folks in the room. Let's give it up for everyone out here bringing your energy and your listening ears and your support to the room. No, you're supposed to clap for that. Yeah, clap for it. Let's give it up to the Rialto Theatre. And let's give it up one more time for Nick Fury. Reminder, we'll be back back next month in the back room celebrating big as part of the 10-year anniversary for the Rialto with 3 feature poets and a DJ. Come back for that. First Wednesday of every month. Come back anytime. Love to have you. Make sure we show some Akron love to Nick in the pot if we haven't already and are able, or with our words, buy a book, all kinds of options. Thank you so much for being here tonight.